Hey everyone, I'm outside because power's out inside and there's no light to do anything. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing my videos out here for now. So anyway, Street Sharks episode, Shark Jacked. Decent one, I guess. I have some problems with it. So first off, summary, it starts off with this young boy Ryan who's upset because of his brother's alleged death. Okay, that's pretty heavy for Street Sharks. He runs out, he's crying, and we see up in the tree is Manta Man watching him. And it turns out this kid's brother is Manta Man. When he was human, yeah, this was his brother. It's a pretty cool premise for something like this. So anyway, then we pan across and shows in the bushes across is Paradigm spying on Manta Man. Why? I don't know. So, Paradigm kidnaps Ryan, the little boy, Manta Man's brother, although Ryan doesn't know that. He blackmails Manta Man into following these instructions to hijack two planes and crash them. Alright. Yeah, this definitely wouldn't play in reruns, I don't think. Whatever, anyway. There's a pretty, harsh moment when, let's see, Paradigm forces Ryan onto his jet. And as they're leaving, even though Manta Man has agreed to his demands, Calamari decides to just shoot a dart at Manta Man in the shoulder just for the heck of it. It was so weird seeing this because last episode, Paradigm and Calamari were so weak feeling and cowering and definitely not themselves. This feels like a return to their true characters, and I like that. So anyway, the animation is really good at the beginning also. It's set at night, that gives it a unique atmosphere, and we're finally getting back to Manta Man's story. It's a really cool step up from the last episode. So Manta Man goes to the Sharks for help, and he shows them Paradigm's instructions. And, let's see, the Sharks figure out that the two jets or planes, whatever, that Paradigm wants Manta Man to hijack and crash are ones carrying world leaders. So, the Sharks decide to get in touch with President Horn, which Manta Man apparently doesn't know about. Wasn't he in Shark Hunt? Or Shark Wars, the one where the Sharks, or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Manta Man is surprised that they know the President. They introduce him to the President, and the President thanks Manta Man for stopping Paradigm's Grainmaker bomb, which is a very specific nod to continuity. Alright, sure, I'll take it. So anyway, President Horn makes a plan with the Sharks and Manta Man that Manta Man will fake hijacking the planes, but then he'll land them in a secret airfield, which it makes sense for the President to know. And so anyway, Manta Man goes through with the plan, he redirects the planes to the secret airfield, and then the Sharks and Benz are following, and Streaks fires a missile at a mountain to make it look like the planes did crash. Let's see. Benz makes a call to a reporter and tells her to come to the south coast of Iceland. Huh. Another very specific thing. Was it necessary that we know exactly the place where this is? It's just a really weird detail. I'm surprised that they put that much thought into it. So then Manta Man lands the planes, the world leaders get out, and almost immediately get into a fist fight, which is pretty funny. And, let's see. He breaks them up, tells them what's going on, and then meanwhile we see Paradigm with Ryan being held hostage. He's holding him in a cage on his jet thing, whatever. Paradigm's working on this new thing, the Genesis satellite. And then he's explaining it to Ryan because he's a mad scientist. He has to exposit to somebody. He sees on the news report, he sees them talking about the crash of the planes, and he thinks Manta Man followed through with his orders. And then there's a weird bit. He goes with Tentakill and Reptile to loot the uranium mines. And this is an interesting thing because this is the whole reason why the world leaders were meeting, was because their countries are at war over a uranium mine that's on their border. It's a pretty relevant topic and actually a realistic thing for the show to do, especially now, considering what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. But there's a weird thing, I'll get to it at the end. So anyway, he goes with Tentakill and Reptile to loot the uranium mines, now that the world leaders are out of the way, I guess. Anyway, the Sharks and Benz are waiting for him, and when they try to stop him, He shoots them with some kind of sonic sound waves that form a force field around them. Sure. He gives the wave emitter thing to Tentakill, he gives a bomb to Reptile, and then they leave. I guess they'll come back later. Whatever. So, Benz is really lucky, and he uses wires from his camera to short-circuit the force field. Sure. And there's an interesting thing, all throughout this whole sequence, the animation is really good. Like, it's nothing amazing or spectacular, but for Street Sharks, it's really good animation that feels like it's calling back to the really early episodes, like the premiere episodes. So anyway, let's see. Streaks throws the bomb away, and there's a little explosion. I'm wondering, would the explosion have even reached the sharks? Is uranium like a conductor of fire or something? Would the uranium have exploded? I don't know how uranium works, so whatever. Anyway, the two world leaders, interestingly, they come from two, I think, fictional countries, Latonia and Kochnia. So anyway, they're arguing with Man-to-Man, and let's see. They both bring up, like, what their beef is with each other. The mines are, let's see. The mines are on Latonian land and have been for 50 years, and the other guy says that the entire region was once Kochnia, which again is relevant to Russia and Ukraine, where Ukraine was once part of Russia, and years ago they declared independence from Russia, but now Russia wants it back because, I don't know, fuel or something. So anyway, the reporter that Ben's talked to earlier is with Paradigm at the launch of the Genesis satellite in Arizona. They're really world-hopping this episode, aren't they? So anyway, she calls Benz to tell them where Paradigm is at the moment. And this is kind of weird, because why is she working with Benz against Paradigm? It's like she has some kind of grievance with Paradigm, and I can't think of any reason why she would, except for one, and it's kind of a petty reason. It's when the Wolverinepedes attacked her a few episodes ago, when she went to the waste dump to do something, and the Wolverinepedes that they knew were there, were there. Whatever, moving on. Let's see. Okay, Man-to-Man goes to get with the Sharks to meet with Paradigm, and he leaves the world leaders alone. Let's see, Ripster, Streak, Slamu collapse the ground around Paradigm and cause him to fall down. He grasps with one hand to a ledge, and there's a weird thing that's not really been a thing the rest of the episode. He only uses one hand, and I don't know why. He has two usable hands. When I first noticed this, I wondered, is this a callback to last episode where Greco threw him against the wall and he smashed really hard? Did that break one of his arms? But I went back and I watched it again, and no, he uses both arms throughout this episode, so I don't know why at the end here he's only using the one. Whatever, anyway, the stress from falling down this pit causes him to transform into Paranoid, and the reporter gets this on film and sends it to the news. Wow. Okay, there's a big thing that happened. Jab and Man-to-Man go to stop the satellite, and we get a music video that gives a nice little montage of Man-to-Man's origin and history until now. And it is really short, and that's nice, but the weird thing is the song part of the music video keeps playing after the music video has ended. Like, it keeps going throughout most of the rest of the episode. It's really strange that they do this. Like, I guess they were really proud of this song. Let's see, it's called Inside Out. The singer is a woman, which is different. Usually it's a guy singing. I think it's the same guy who does the theme song. And the other interesting thing is, the woman, I think they were trying really hard to make her sound like Pat Benatar. I don't know if that's true, but listen to it and then listen to Pat Benatar. It sounds a lot similar. I'm sure it must have been at least an influence for the song. So anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, let's see. There's a big fight between the Soviets, Paradigm, and the Sharks. And then there's a really weird little reused animation from a previous episode. Reptile shoots at Streaks. And all of a sudden, Streaks is in a city. There's a building behind him with a wire fence, even though they're in a desert in Arizona. That was a weird thing to reuse. Like, they have had episodes in deserts before, so they couldn't reuse footage from that? Whatever. Anyway, Ryan has suddenly escaped from Paradigm's jet. We never see how or anything. Okay, I had to leave to do something for a second there. Where was I? Oh yeah, Ryan had somehow escaped Paradigm's jet or something. And so, oh yeah, somehow he knows that Man-to-Man is his brother, even though there was never any kind of, foreshadowing of this or anything. Put my camera back down there. Okay, there it goes. So anyway, I get my notes back out here. So anyway, the president shows up and reveals to everybody that the world leaders are okay, and the world leaders have, like, come to a compromise with each other. We don't see what the compromise is or anything, but they're getting along right now, I guess. Or maybe they're not, and they're just pretending, who knows. Let's see. President Horn uses this opportunity to reveal how Paradigm tried to gene wash his vice president. Brainwash. They're still using the word gene wash for some reason. And, let's see. Oh yeah, there's a really pointless scene. Paradigm tries to escape and the sharks bring down his jet. He gets arrested at the end of that story. I don't know why that was necessary. So then, meanwhile, Ryan takes Man-to-Man home to meet with his parents, and his parents are surprised to see that he's alive. Man-to-Man, though, doesn't stay there. He flies off, still not feeling comfortable around other people, which is a neat little recurring story thing, but I don't know, it just feels weird because they keep skipping episodes around. Like, I feel like Man-to-Man's whole story would have had a lot more weight if all of his episodes were back-to-back. But I'm guessing maybe they didn't want all of his episodes back-to-back. They wanted them spread out a little bit more. Who knows? Whatever. Paradigm is in prison somewhere, and the weird thing is he's in the same cell as Reptile, Tentakill, and Killamari. All of them are in the same cell together. 4. And Tentakill has shrunk a lot. Like, is that one of his powers? Can Tentakill shrink now? Whatever. And they're digging their way out. Yeah, you have a couple of mutants and this guy in a power suit. They keep him in the power suit for some reason. And you put him in a room that they can just dig their way out of? Sure, whatever. So anyway, the episode begins really strong and the animation is smooth for the most part. But the plot is way too crowded. There's way too much stuff going on. Man-to-Man is a really fascinating character, but apparently the show didn't think so, because in each of his appearances, he's been pushed to the side. In his first episode, he doesn't really mutate until way at the end. In Shark Wars, why do I keep confusing those two? He just kind of pops up randomly in, what was the other episode with him, where he's hanging out in the cave with bats for some reason. That's another episode where it felt like they could have explored his character some more and the pathos that he's feeling, where he doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere, he doesn't know, like, who he is, really, but they don't focus on any of that, so I guess they didn't really think he was that interesting of a character and instead focused on all these other things. Paradigm's latest plan is unnecessarily complex. I said I'd talk about this later, how weird it is. There's no need to take out the country leaders to loot the uranium mines. It's extremely vaguely implied that maybe there's a ceasefire between the two countries, but they never make that clear. And, like, even if that was the thing, like, at the mine, there's only 2 guards. Paradigm goes, fires, like, like, a warning shot at them, and then they immediately leave. They never come back. They don't bring reinforcements or anything. Or if they do, we never see it. Paradigm doesn't even, like, steal anything from the uranium mine. Like, he leaves, then his bomb is, like, already, the Genesis satellite is already done. So, whatever. So anyway, I realized that if he hadn't kidnapped Ryan and blackmailed Man-to-Man, the sharks never would have been waiting there for him, and he could have just gone right in, stolen all the uranium he wanted, and left. He ruined his own plan by complicating it, by taking out the world leaders for no reason. There was really no reason for this. What would have been a better plan was if, I don't know, he had sent one of his mutants that he already had, like in a jet or something, to hijack the plane, or at the very least, shoot a Genesis bomb or a gene bomb into the plane and mutate everybody, and, like, add the loyalty vaccine, remember? That was a thing. So, whatever, anyway, Da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, there's a weird thing with Manta Man's parents. His mother and father, they look a lot like Aunt May and Uncle Ben from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Like, especially the mother. The mother looks almost exactly like how Aunt May looks in there, except not really as well drawn. I'm guessing maybe there might have been, like, some animators who had worked on both shows, and they had experience drawing Aunt May or a character similar to her, and that's why the mother looks the way she does. Even the hair and the face, everything is the same color. And so, anyway, that's it for this one. This was a decent episode, kind of a plot hole heavy episode, but it's fine. So, that's it for this one. See ya.